Test, 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 test.
Test.
Put more effort into it, bro. Eh, why is it not?
Hi Eusophians, this is the 35 JCRC by-elections rally. I'm Laura and this is Shakina. We are the moderators for today. The sequence of events are as follows. Firstly, we will have the Student Affairs Director candidate to give her speech, followed by the Finance Director candidate. Proposers will give their speech, followed by the candidates. We will then end off with a Q&A segment. So now, let me introduce our Student Affairs Director candidate for this year. We have Nikki Patricia Karia Johari from the Faculty of Dentistry. Nikki is currently in year 2 and these are her past commitments. Touch rug, volleyball, football, bash and team manager for softball. And in year 2, she had touch rug, volleyball, football, floorball, handball and EHOC main com. Now, we'll invite Alice, her proposer, to give her speech.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Elise and I'm Nikki's proposer. So I've known Nikki since she came into Eusoff and I know that she has what it takes to lead Eusoff as the Student Affairs Director. And having only played volleyball from primary school up to junior college, Nikki had the courage to take up 4 other new sports that she had no background in. She also went to participate in bash, even when she did not have any prior dance experience. While she discovered that she really can't dance, this shows her open-mindedness to try new things and her courage to face failure in a pursuit for growth. Many are not aware of the effort she puts in her work. Nikki is one who manages her time very well. By being focused and disciplined, she gives her best in everything she does. She often preaches about the importance of balancing work and play, and it is evident in the way that she handles her responsibilities. On top of her busy 8 to 5 dental school schedule, she makes the extra effort to commit to all her CCAs in hall, be it her 5 sports as well as being vice captain for volleyball, or even as EHOC marketing vice head. It is definitely not easy juggling all these commitments on top of a hectic school schedule, but she did it and strive in every aspect. She would definitely do a good job if given the SAD position. Behind her quiet demeanor, Nikki is actually a people's person. She does not hesitate to engage in small talks with people that she meets along the corridor or in the dining hall. Apart from her peers, she also makes the effort to engage in conversations with the cleaners as well as the DH uncles, even when it's hard for her to understand because she doesn't understand half of the things they say. While most importantly, she has a kind and genuine heart that cares about the people around her, always ready to lend a helping hand or listening ear. This is why I think that she fits the role of SAD, as I would definitely feel safe and glad knowing that someone as thoughtful as her is here to care for the welfare of the people in Eusoff. In addition, Nikki is aware of her boundaries between being a leader and a friend. She knows how to exhibit professionalism while taking into consideration the feelings of others, which is a plus point for the role of SAD. A good leader doesn't think in terms of being a leader, but instead simply in terms of helping the people. I believe that Nikki has the courage to learn, discipline to execute, and the heart to connect. So let Nikki be our SAD so none of us will be sad. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Elise. We'll now invite Nikki to give her speech.
Thank you, Elise, for your speech. Good evening, all. I'm Nikki, a Year 3 dental student. I'm running for the position of Student Affairs Director for the 35th JCRC. A big part of the reason why I decided to run for this position came about when I recalled my experiences as a freshman 2 years ago. Uneased with the changes as I first stepped into university life, coupled with the fluidity of COVID, I was worried I couldn't fit in anywhere. Things started changing when I entered Eusoff Hall, where I slowly began to feel part of a community. It is here where strangers I met turned into friends and eventually my second family. This is impossible without the warm embrace and welcome of seniors right here in Eusoff Hall. Eusoff Hall provides its residents with a learning environment, one that allows individuals to grow and mature holistically. Myself included, I have discovered newfound passion and interest with the new activities that I took part over the 2 years. I took part in sports such as touch rugby, football, volleyball, and floorball, and had the opportunity to play alongside athletes who are willing to teach me these skills. Honestly, if it wasn't for Eusoff Hall, Never would I have imagined myself taking part in Bash, dancing in front of the camera together with 4 other talented partners. I also collaborated with members of the EHOC Exco as Marketing Vice Head during last year's EHOC camp. These CCAs has allowed me to learn more about myself, either exploring areas I'm good at or seeking ways I can further improve myself in other aspects. Through these experiences, I have picked up many valuable lessons from my batchmates, seniors, and freshmen. Eusoff Hall to me is not just a place to stay, but it is a second home, which is why I have a strong conviction to run for SAD. Being SAD requires me to be on the ground very often, catering to the needs and concerns of residents, and to integrate Eusoffians further into hall culture. I would like to commend the efforts of the 34th JCRC in bringing the hall together despite many changes and restrictions that were implemented the past few months. If elected, I hope that I can continue the effort of my predecessor, Avinav, in strengthening the bond and identity that is carried by residents of Eusoff Hall. For instance, EHBB was organized so that residents can meet people from other CCAs who are not from their blocks or faculty. Events such as these allow Eusoffians to get to know each other a little bit better, and this is what I aim to achieve during my term as SAD if elected. I do not hold many leadership positions in Eusoff Hall, but my vast experiences as a resident in a multitude of sports and committee have allowed me to comprehend better the concerns our residents face. Being in various sports have opened my eyes to the troubles that captains face in the year, especially leading up to IHG season. And with Eusoff being convening this year, I'm confident that I'm more able to bridge the gap between our athletes and the convening team, or even our sports director. Having listened to my friends who are actively involved in the art scene in Eusoff, they too have their concerns about the use of spaces for practices and performances. Blockheads, on the other hand, they will want to hold block events throughout the year to promote bonding within residents of their block. And on my part, I will definitely push for these events to be a success and in all my capabilities, assist blockheads in their planning of events such that it achieves their desired outcomes. During my term as SAD, I would like to contribute in 2 different ways. I would like to have small bouts of interblock competition, which means that these activities do not last longer than a day, which I believe would be beneficial considering the differing busy schedules of our residents. I would also like to continue the efforts of previous SADs that did not come to fruition due to COVID restrictions. Some examples will be the pool interest groups or bringing back ideas such as Bring Your Pets Day to Eusoff. I acknowledge that it is near impossible to cater to the needs and concerns of every single resident, but I will take time to listen to your worries and work alongside you if any trouble arises. There is much for me to learn and experience, and if elected, I believe that my past experiences will allow me to collaborate well with my fellow JCRC members. I hope that you put your trust and confidence in me to strive for nothing but the best for Eusoff and contribute back to the place I call home. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nikki. Next, we have our Finance Director candidate, Isaac Yeo Kaiwan. Isaac is in year 1 this year, and he's in the College of Humanities and Sciences, majoring in quantitative finance. His past commitments in year 1 include team manager, expats, DP sets, finance committee, and EW logistics. We'll now invite Rishika to his proposal to give her speech.
Hi, my name is Rish. Today, Isaac saves my life when he heroically killed a spider that was attacking me. Having met Isaac this AY, this is not the first time I've experienced his heroic displays. When I worked with him as handball captain when he was the team manager, Isaac was someone who was always ready to fill in as handball keeper and get his body physically hurt by the handballs that were being thrown at him when we did not have enough keepers. He never once complained about helping out even when his back was aching. As a TM, he worked closely with me to ensure that all things went smoothly. There was once we experienced a delay in receiving a payment, and he was very patient in helping me follow up and helped to make sure that the team accounts were all settled. When I got stressed, he reminded me to stay calm and informed me that he would help me out. He handled things very professionally. This was incredibly reassuring, and I'm very thankful for all the help that he's given me. Isaac is a very, very likable and smart man who would be perfect for the role of finance director and would definitely be a valuable member in the JCRC. His calm demeanor, ability to listen to feedback and adapt, practical working style and maturity, together with his ability to pick things up fast, is why I have no doubt that Isaac would be a great leader despite only being a freshie. Isaac is a very hard worker who I'm a secret fan of, and I admire him greatly for his discipline, his swagger, and unbeknownst to him, his way of living and outlook of life has definitely reminded me of what is important in our time in hall and uni. He is someone who would lead by actions rather than words, and I think that makes him a great leader. Despite running for the role of Finance D, I strongly believe that he will have an impact on those around him and the wider hall community, as he has good ideas, has a unique hall experience which would add to the diversity and contribute to the representation in the JCRC, and has the ability to see the bigger picture. I feel that he would contribute to things outside just his role of finance director and help his fellow JCRC members make hall a better place for us. Hence, I urge you to vote yes for Isaac, as I know he will be the type of leader that Eusoff needs and the type of leader that Eusoff has yet to see. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Rishika. Now let's have Isaac to give his speech.
Yeah. Good evening, Eusophians. I am Isaac, a Year 1 Quantitative Finance student, and I am running for the role of Finance Director in next year's JCRC. Before I go on to my motivations to run for this role, let me take you through my Eusoff journey so far. To me, Eusoff isn't just a place to stay. It is where people from different backgrounds, with many talents and ideas, come together as a community to learn from one another. Though I've only been in Eusoff for less than a year, it has been fulfilling and filled with many memories that I will cherish for a long time to come. My time in the different community CCAs has been a new yet fulfilling experience, where I got to make new friends and learn new skills. My role as the handball TM allowed me to experience the camaraderie and teamwork of a team working towards a common goal. I feel that this is not only limited to sports CCAs. During my time as a member of DP Sets, we had to work together to design and build sets, and this definitely couldn't be a one-man job. It was definitely fulfilling to see our efforts and the crazy hard work of the dancers and actors pay off during the night of DP. Shout out DP Sets. For Finance Com, teamwork is also important, as we also have to play our part in assisting the current Finance Director, Yi Chen, with handling applications for claim and reimbursements. I really enjoy the sense of community and camaraderie in Eusoff. My motivation for running for the role of Finance Director stems from my current experience in Finance Com, as well as my other CCAs. I would say that the work Finance Com does is very behind the scenes and not noticeable. We assist each one to check through and verify claim forms to ensure that residents of Eusoff are reimbursed in a timely manner, and also that the claim forms don't face any problems after. One thing I enjoyed from my experience was working together as a committee, as everyone is friendly and approachable. Thus, whenever I was in doubt about the process, I do not hesitate to approach my fellow Finance Com members or each one to clarify these doubts so that we can all learn from it together. One goal I have for the Finance Committee in the coming AY is to make claiming process even easier to understand and more accessible, as well as improve communication between Finance Com and the CCA treasurers. I understand that the members of Finance Com and the CCA treasurers may have their own commitments and schedules, which may delay the claim process. However, I will still try to encourage them to take the initiative and help each other out, so that claims can be submitted and processed in a timely manner, and this will be beneficial to for all parties. I would like to thank Yi Chen for the work he has done as the current Finance Director. I think that Yi Chen is very approachable and helpful, and I hope to be able to continue this tradition as I strive to be friendly and approachable and build rapport with the treasurers so that they do not hesitate to approach me if they have any doubts about the claiming process. On top of the work as the Finance Director, I hope to contribute even more to Eusoff by assisting in hall matters, and more importantly, be a voice for the residents of Eusoff as a member of JCRC, where I will be able to raise the concerns of my fellow residents to the JCRC members to be able to address these issues they may face. I hope that all of you will give me a chance to serve you as the finance director for the coming AY. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you, Isaac. We will now have a 10 minutes intermission and we'll be back for the Q&A at 8:50. You can access the link to the website on channel EH, or alternatively, you can key in the code 26713982 into Mentimeter. Do remember to state your name, year, and blog along with your questions. We will reconvene in 10 minutes at 8:50. Thank you.
Okay, hi, welcome back to the JCRC rally. We will now be starting the Q&A segment. I'll first open the floor to the current 34 JCRC members in the FH, and afterwards I'll read the questions posted on Mentimeter. Once again, please be reminded to include your name, year, and block when posting your questions. I'll now pass the mic to the JCRC members.
Hi, I'm Siheng, currently the Hongen Sec. My question will be, since this is the by-election, why didn't you run for the first election in the first place? Thank you. Either or, I want to hear from both.
Yeah, so thanks for your question. Like, honestly, like the main reason I didn't run for the first time is because like I'm only year one, so I wasn't like very confident in my like abilities, and yeah, then after like the first voting, like I took the time to think, because there were like a few people who approached me for this role, and I like voiced my concerns to them lah. Like I say, oh, like what if I'm not ready for this responsibility, and cause I'm only a freshie, so maybe that I'm not like exactly super familiar with like the workings of Eusoff, but like from their encouragement, I decided to like just step out of my comfort zone and like try for this role. And also like I think like 1 year in Eusoff just went by in a flash. So I would like to like seize the opportunity to be able to serve as the finance director and like be more involved in hall, like before it's like too late. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Song, for the question. I think a major reason why I didn't run for the position during the first election was really because of my concern about my busy study schedule. So as you know, that I have an 8 to 5 schedule. And then after that, after I talked to Avina about it and really try to understand like the job scope of an SAD, I thought about it again, and like really my SEM 1 commitments, having a lot of sports CCAs, I am more confident in my ability to manage my time well. And I mean, after all, I feel like with any responsibilities that is entrusted upon me, be it like SAD or any outside leadership positions, I don't think I will discount my leadership responsibilities more than any other responsibilities that I'm given. So I guess that Eusophians will have my word that I am able to manage my time well, plan my schedule, and really just strive the best for Eusofa. Yeah, thank you.
You want to ask first?
For the remaining questions, each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer.
Okay, so this is somewhat of a follow-up question. So based on your conversations with the current leaders in the positions and your knowledge and experience of Eusoff so far, what has the current 34th JCRC not did so well this year, and what specifically can you do better to improve what they've done?
Okay, so thank you, Song, again. Let me just first say that the JCRC really did a good job this year with all the COVID restrictions, but I acknowledge that it's very difficult to adjust, and there really is, I mean, in every situation, there's something to improve on. And one thing that I would like to touch on more is with reference to the feedback channels that is available on Channel EH. I think not many people know about these feedback channels. So what I plan to do is, in order to better elevate the welfare of residents in Eusoff, I think that these feedback channels that are being implemented, the efficacy can only be or rather the efficacy is often overestimated lah. So in order to improve upon this, a feedback channel only work if, number one, there's continual reminder that there is a feedback channel in the first place, and number two, there is transparency in the feedback channel. So for instance, maybe I can seek the help of Eusoff hackers to have like maybe a Telegram feedback channel which allows residents to input their concerns into the channel. And then once the concerns are being acted upon, I can directly let channel EH know about the improvement that JCRC has been working on. So this acts as like a transparency thing lah. So residents know that, oh, I raised a feedback, I raised a concern, and my concern is being attended to. So JCRC is actually doing their job. Yeah, so yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I think like Nikki brought up a good point also, that like the current JCRC is dealing with like a new COVID climate. So maybe there was like some challenges that were quite new and unexpected. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So for me, I think I will only comment on the role of Finance D. Yeah. I think honestly, each one did quite a good job. Like as a member of Finance Com, I think his instructions were like quite clear and I could like easily approach him if needed. But I think one thing I would change is maybe, because at the for Finance Com, we had a meeting at the start of the year to brief like the whole committee, but perhaps there like wasn't much like follow-up or reminders after that. So maybe like members of the Finance Committee, they would be like a bit like rusty or they forget like the procedures because they have not done this before. So something I would do differently is to maybe like create a easy to access guide, something like perhaps a flow chart where members of the Finance Committee or even the treasurers can just easily refer to this and like be very sure on the claim procedures. Yeah.
Okay, hi, I'm Abina. I want to ask Nikki the question. Given that you have no prior block.com experience, what made you decide to run for this position? Given that you did not have prior block.com experience, what made you decide to run for this position?
Okay, so I'll answer that question by saying that I came from a batch of residents that didn't experience pre-COVID hall fund. So I entered Eusoff when measures were very strict. So because of this, many events are being scaled down to abide by the rules that were implemented. Even though I'm not in Blockcom, I have actually reached out to the block heads and I have seen how difficult it is for them to carry out block events on such a small scale due to COVID. So I think that me being SAD next year, if elected, I would want to step in and help the future block heads in carrying out their planned activities in order to promote the bonding in the block. Although I think that the events that are being held, like block events that are being held, are rather scaled down this year, and interactions are rather limited to small groups. I think that what I gain from these block events is because of these small group interactions where I get to talk to Blockcom members or like rather the block heads themselves. So I get to understand the concerns that they face. And I think that as SAD, I am able to work on the concerns that they face next year and be probably an asset to the hall management committee. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, JCRC. I'll now be reading the questions from Mentimeter. The first question is from Ethan. This question is for both candidates. What will you do for LYLCs next year?
Yeah, hi Ethan. So thanks for your question. I think it's like definitely important to recognize the contributions of the LYCs, given that they spend like 4 years in hall and they contribute a lot on all the different scenes. From my understanding, I think that there's like a hall-wide event organized by CMC and HRB to like commemorate the contributions of LYCs. So on top of this, I think maybe the JCRC can push for more events to recognize the contributions of the LYCs. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay. In response to Ethan's question, I think that it's really not about, I think that largely LYLCs, they are very, very busy in SEM 2 as compared to SEM 1. So with all the events that have already been planned out for them, in my personal opinion, I don't think that we should have more events, but instead maybe have a large-scale one-day event kind of thing. So in SEM 2, I know that there's coffee and tea. So my opinion of like one full day event could be maybe just like probably to allow the LYCs to have more fun, more games. Maybe just like a beach day out where we have I don't know, water soccer, picnic or treasure hunts in Sentosa itself. I think that that is rather feasible, and it is something that I don't think that it requires a lot of funds, yeah. So, and also that, coming back to my point whereby I want a one-time large-scale event, I think that this is possible. Maybe in the morning, then we can go out, and then after that at night, we can have tea. Yeah, so I feel that this is, as in because I see that a lot of LYLCs this year, they are very busy and packed with stuff. And I don't think that we want to bother them so much. So I think that this large-scale event will help them just celebrate their last few days here in Eusoff. Thank you.
Hi, Nikki. Just now you mentioned the lack of available spaces for training for the cultural side. How will you improve on that?
Okay, so when I was reaching out to several blockheads and cultural people, I think that the main reason why the lack of available spaces for trainings for the cultural side even exists is because there's some conflicts between the blockheads and the CCA heads for culture, because sometimes the blockheads want to conduct block events, and then at the same time, concurrently, maybe the dance people want to like book venues for dance practices. So I think that there should be some compromise on my part, and I will communicate with my future PAD, which is Joel, when there's these conflicts that occur. So I think that, nearing to maybe like the big dance events or like piecings, I think that it is only fair that DP or like the cultural people have the use of the venues, and maybe during the early parts of the SEM, like for instance, early SEM 1, early SEM 2, I feel like Blockcom can actually book the facilities more, because the early parts of the SEMs are when new people come in, and the Blockcom will definitely want to push for more block events so that they can promote block bonding. Yeah, thank you.
This question is for Nikki. Other than holding typical events, what are some other things you will do as SAD?
Okay, so I think my interpretation of typical events would be EHBB. That is one event that helps to promote halide bonding with residents from different blocks, CCAs, and faculties. So I think that some other things that I can do as SAD is actually the establishment of interest groups, such as the pool interest group. So this pool interest groups actually was established by Avina. Yeah, and I think that it was difficult for her to put the plan to fruition last year with the COVID restrictions. But I think in my term, I hope to be able to carry this out and see it through till success lah. So the pool room has been a very popular place for residents to just hang around and play pool. So I think that I don't see why there is a problem if I want to have inter-block pool competition, or maybe even invite people who are interested in pool but not very competent in it, for them to learn from the more experienced people in pool. Yeah. This can also be, I think another thing that I can do as SAD is really to integrate the SEM2 residents into the whole culture. Because from my own observations, I think that SEM2 residents, they have a harder time making new friends here in Eusoff, because everyone already have their own group of friends when they meet in SEM 1. Yeah, so I would think that I would want the block comms to conduct more SEM 2 events, especially in the early parts, because people get a bit more busy in SEM 2 with the increase in submissions and finals lah. Yeah, so I think, yeah, so apart from that, I would also want to maybe just bring back my point to the interest groups. I feel that, okay, thank you.
Okay, this question is for Isaac. What do you think of the issue that residents were only informed that winter subsidy is reduced after we have made payments?
Yeah, I think this issue could have definitely been handled better. Yeah, like I as a fellow year 1 resident, I was also like quite surprised about this issue. Like we only learned like so late on. So like I decided to go and check with my block heads and JCRC. And from what I understand is that the hall has like a fixed budget to subsidize for winter subsidies. And that this year there were just too many of us that want to stay winter to like train for IHG and for everything, DP, everything. Yeah, so that meant that the subsidies each person could receive would have to be lowered to accommodate everyone. Yeah, like I'm quite sure many of us stay winter vacay because of our friends. So if we were to like stick to the original subsidy, then that meant that some people couldn't stay, and like that could be our friends. So like imagine you stay, then your friend just don't stay. Like I think like it goes a long way. Like if every one of us just like took one for the team and make sure that more Eusophians have the chance to stay and have fun together during winter and like train hard. Yeah, but I definitely do acknowledge that this issue could have been handled better. So maybe like the JCRC could have brought up this issue when it came out, or like there could have been more transparency regarding this. Yeah, thank you.
We have some questions from the floor.
Hi, Nikki. So this year, all the blockheads were involved in COVID contact tracing, along with tracing everyone who is close contact. Wait, did I say that right? All the C+ and CCs, basically. So they are all, the blockheads along with all the block comms are very burnt out by this. And we have tried to implement a system to make it lighter on them, but I don't think that's the most efficient way, or it has been made the most efficient. So what's your opinion on this system, and how do you think it can be better improved, or what do you think is the next step in helping Blockcom relieve this load off of them? Because they can no longer function just to provide welfare, but instead they have to spend most of their time handling the food and handling all the test kit handing out stuff. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so from what I understand, in order to relieve the burden of Blockcom members, I think that Avina has actually created a volunteer group to help these Blockcom members in distributing the COVID test kits and also to collect the food. So I think that we can make use of this volunteer group to lessen the burden of the Blockcom members. I guess it's not just that, I guess it's more of maybe we can create like a schedule or like a roster of sorts so that the blockheads can ensure that the Blockcom people, they're not overworked. Yeah, so I guess if there really is a lot of work, I think that I, as SAD, can create a larger group of people to volunteer in cases where, for instance, like maybe next year there's like another surge of COVID cases, let's hope not, but if there is, then I will have, I'll put in place a fixed committee of people to help with this distribution of test kits and food to help lessen the burden of Blockcom.
Okay, so we did think about doing that, but we faced the problem of, do we need to reward these people? So what's your opinion about that?
I think volunteer work really comes from the heart, and I don't see why people need to be rewarded for helping other people when they are helping them out of their own goodwill. So no, I don't think that they should be rewarded. But I think, and anyway, I really believe that there are Eusoffians out there who really want to help, like all these people who I need, collect food, collect test kits, and in a nutshell, I don't think they should be rewarded. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the floor? Sean has a question for us.
Hi, this is a question from Sean. He's a year 1 business student. This is for both candidates. If you could be any supervillain, if you could be any supervillain, who would it be and why?
Yeah. Like, honestly, if I could be one super villain, I think I'll be Gru from Despicable Me. Yeah, cause although he's a super villain, right, but actually he's like quite kind-hearted, I feel. Like, he's quite cheeky also and playful. Yeah, so it's like, he really enjoys what he does. And I don't think Gru is like bad at heart lah. So I think he's just like a bit mischievous. And also he controls like an army of minions, then that's damn cool. Yeah, so I want to be Gru. Yeah, and I can like steal the moon or everything. Yeah, thanks.
Good answer.
Let me see. I don't really watch a lot of supervillain movies. So can I answer this like in terms of superhero?
Sure, I think Sean will be fine with that. Yeah.
Okay, so Sean, to answer your question, if I was a superhero, I think I'll be Spider-Man. Because I feel that something that resonated with me through the movie was really just something, with great power comes great responsibility lah. So I think that, I don't know, I guess he has a lot of power in his hands and he uses that for the benefit of the greater good. So I think that is what I want to be if I'm elected as CD. Thank you.
Thanks. I have one more question. It's from Chongjin, Year 2 business student. This is towards Nikki. Nikki, what do you think about pool being an IG sport officially?
Sure, why not, right? I think maybe I can work with Luke and see whether I can make pool an official IHG sport. I think a lot of people in Eusoff would be glad to have it. Thank you.
All right, we will close the Q&A segment now. And with that, we have come to the end of this year's JCRC by-elections rally. The voting portal will be open tonight, and it will close by tomorrow, 2359. Do remember to cast your votes. Thank you.